I'm so excited. I just confirmed with both goat mamas that they are both going to be ready. So we're going this weekend on Sunday to pick up both of our baby little darling doelings, and I need to finish up the internal goat fencing, so we're ready to go. As you saw earlier, I have the goat enclosure there. I have another little housing structure that's going to go inside. I still have to assemble the shed, although the shed doesn't need to be done before they come. And then I went ahead and mowed a little bit of the pasture area. It's spring and the grass is just getting so long already. I do have a farmer who mows the pasture right now for hay, and eventually all of the livestock that we have are going to graze, but there's just so much and we don't have all of the animals yet. So I went ahead and mowed the area that I'm going to fence in because it's going to grow back very quickly, and it will just help me get some of that fencing done. And we do have the rest of the pasture for them to graze as well. In trying to lay it all out, I'm going to get some stakes. I've shifted a few times where exactly this is going to start, but I think I've decided. Now that I have this nightmare area mowed, I had a barbed wire fence nightmare, tangled nightmare in there that I had to cut and remove. I still have some debris to haul away. I think I'm gonna have the road, the path for my tractor is going to be on this side of the yard hydrant. Before I was gonna have it on this side, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and have it on this side and have it run through there, which means the barnyard fence is going to start right on the edge of this yard hydrant because I want easy access. I want to be able to just plug in that hose and get it into the barnyard very easily. So we're gonna go ahead and put the fence right there. It's gonna come across and then go down. Now we have some funkiness on the far side of the pasture here, which is going to affect the fence line. I got this mowed. We had some really crazy soggy pockets where I was getting stuck on the tractor, and so I'm just putting in some fill dirt in those spots. I mean, I'm talking my foot in the muck boots just dropped like 2 feet straight in the mud, and you can just hear it. It's just very wet in certain pockets, and my tractor sunk like a tank. So I'm just bringing in some fill dirt and filling in the areas that are really wet. It's getting ready to rain here in a couple days, so I'm trying to get this at least mowed down and short to give it an opportunity to dry out. This is a spot that I filled yesterday. It was just a complete pool of water, and it feels like it's getting settled in and dried up a little bit. Here's the spot. Some more wet spots. Here's one little spot. You can see this is the spot that my tractor nearly got stuck today. It took me a good 2-3 minutes to get out of that with momentum. So I'm going to try and fill in some more of those spots. My only concern with filling those in, super nervous. This pasture is pretty pristine in terms of the type of grass that it grew for the cows, and this fill dirt, it's from where we excavated the Quonset hut building, and over there it was a weed field, and it was filled with the most annoying, aggressive tree weed that I've ever experienced in my life. It's called, I don't know what it's really called, but if you Google tree of heaven, which is poorly named, they should really call it tree of devil incarnate from hell, because it's the worst invasive tree ever, and it's impossible to get rid of. At my other property, I think I dug up like 20 of them, and the root system is shallow, but it's long. Some of these roots were 10, 15 feet long, and you just have to pull it all out, and it breaks really easily. Well, I dug out maybe 20 trees, and then the next season there was, not exaggerating, like 300. So I'm really nervous that I'm taking that fill dirt that might have some of those roots. I'm trying to sort through and pull out as many of the roots as I can, but I'm really nervous that I'm now introducing it into this pasture. But there's not really much I can do. I mean, it was already filled in that whole field back there. I don't know how these things migrate or spread, but I just know that it's very aggressive, so I'll have to deal with that at that point. And thankfully we have goats, and we'll be adding more and more goats, which are perfect for that type of situation. So I have to kind of even this out, fill it out, let it dry. Hopefully these other mud pit areas will dry out as I fill them, and really hope that I'm not reintroducing that horrific tree of heaven weed into the pasture with this fill dirt. But that's what I've got going. I'm gonna do a little bit more work trying to get this filled up, tamped down, and dried out with my tractor, and then I'll be moving on to the fencing. It's goat fencing day. My goats are coming on Sunday, and I have to get this done. It's the last day of sun for sure, so I need to hop to it. I did a bunch of work on the pasture this week. Even though we've had a decent dry spell, there are just so many big, soggy mud pits. I took that dirt pile. I did my best to kind of fill in the soft spots. I'm hoping it'll dry out. Now, unfortunately, today's the last day of sun. It's supposed to rain. But in the barnyard that I'm starting, it'll be mowed down and just give it a chance to dry out. I'm really concerned about some of these areas where I'm going to have the fence running through, and when you just even step in them. Yesterday, my foot in my muck boots would just sink more than a foot straight down. So I don't know about driving T-posts into those areas where it's going to be so wet and muddy, but I'll do the best I can. I think ideally what I'd love to do, since I had this yard hydrant put in right here, I think I'd like to butt the fence line right here. I have a 4-way splitter, so I'm going to have one continuous feed hose to the auto water, one hose reel for the barnyard, one hose reel for this side, and then one spigot just to wash hands and stuff. So I think for ease of access, I'm just gonna run the fence line pretty close to here. We'll see how it goes once I get started, but I think to try and minimize the amount of weed eating that I have to do at the base of the fence line, I think I'm gonna throw down some ground barrier. My rolls are 6 feet wide. I'm going to try and conserve and maybe split that down the middle and have 3-foot wide strips and run that across. I'm gonna stake out first the fence line. I'm gonna run that across where I want to lay the fence, and then I'll just poke holes and drive the T-posts in. Thankfully, I've got a nice gas-powered T-post driver, so hopefully that should speed it up. We'll see how it goes in the muddy areas that I filled in yesterday. I'm really hoping this goes quickly today. I'm not so unrealistic that I think it's going to get done, but wishful thinking. So we'll see how it goes.